Hello,
Hey,
everyone.
Les.
Hey, Courtney, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. I think Liquid Death is available at Walmart as well.
It is. It is. I was going to pipe in if you didn't.
That was a great little softball to start this off. Well, just a quick second, wanted to introduce myself. My name is Les Harrison. I'm part of the National Brand Partnerships team here at OUTFRONT. We're one of the largest out-of-home media companies in the US, and we are excited to be a part of our second Kickoff Summit with Brand Innovators. Would like to again welcome you, Courtney. Hello and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too. Thanks for having me.
No problem. So I thought we could get started. Your title as SVP of Category Marketing sounds pretty broad, and would love to start off with a quick background on your career and how you got to this point and this role at Walmart.
Sure, absolutely. So my role at Walmart is leading essentially the business units marketing and the teams that market to our P&L units. So think of it as home, grocery, electronics, the general commerce areas, as well as grocery, consumables. I also oversee a team that does our services marketing, so financial services and all of our financial products, as well as health and wellness, so clinics, pharmacy, and then oversee our W Plus business and the subscription service there, and then also all the marketing to propel our Walmart app. So easiest to think about it is the P&L units and have marketing teams accountable to those business roles. And how I found myself here, I think when I look back, I've had a very now long history in retail, but really stumbled into it, to be honest. By education was a marketing and finance major, which probably shows a little bit of how my brain operates, of really loving the art and the science of things. More consumer led, but if I can't measure it, it didn't happen. So really was looking for, I knew I probably wouldn't be polar. I didn't think I'd be a financial analyst. It seems like I'd be missing way too much of people in consumer. And when I was in college, I went to the University of Minnesota, and Target came on campus, and I found myself in an internship at Target and really loved the opportunity there. At that time, there wasn't marketing, kind of intro marketing roles out of school. So I started more in the merchandising side of the business. So leading P&Ls, and just, again, a ton of synergy between developing, product assortment experience, and doing so with the customer at the forefront. And so I always think about my career in that chapter still does what I do today of putting a customer at the center, but my output is marketing comms. But through my career, it's always been coming back to how are we delivering for the brand, growing more loyal customers, and growing the business. So through that time, found myself in multiple different roles, everything from home to grocery to pet care, to private brands, and then also led more consumables-led marketing programs at Target, in addition to private brands. And then made the leap. But I had been at Target for about 16 years and absolutely loved what I was doing. Loved the people I was with, and was going to be moving into a new role, but had an opportunity to come up with Under Armour and felt like something I couldn't say no to. So at that point on, I said, I'm going to experience new industries, new lines of business, new brands, and really stretch my skills and my thinking. And so spent a couple of years at Under Armour leading North America marketing. And again, that brand and the rebirth and the repositioning of the brand through the tenure there was really exciting to be a part of, and loved the founder-led culture. And then found myself moving to an opportunity at Walmart. And, I think there's a lot of, again, the retail aspects of it, but also the founder-led spirit that really had ended up attracting me to Walmart. Our business is so beyond retail, and the more that I got under the covers of being able to talk to the talented leaders that were there, see our purpose is so far beyond just retail ambition. I mean, our scale and some of the things that we're doing in financial well-being, health well-being, and additional revenue models that we have, it was a place to really see a company driven by a high sense of purpose with the scales and the means and the ambition to truly change industries, change on a sustainability front, change on a supplier front. So found myself here at Walmart and really enjoying what I'm doing. I'm cycling a year next month.
Wow. Yeah, wow. Sounds like a really dynamic path, as well as like perfectly situated for this role in such a large organization. And it sounds like in every place you've gone, though, finding solutions that solve for your customers is right at the core of your being, and it matches up really nicely with Walmart. We all hear about them being very customer centric and a very client and customer friendly brand. So maybe would love to hear about some recent examples of how you've come up with some solutions, and then what those benefits have been to the consumer.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you hit on it. I think I've had the privilege, but also by design, to really be at customer-centric brands. And Walmart is absolutely one of those as well. It's putting the customer at the center of everything that we do. And I think right now it's the speed and the pace to keep up with our customers' rising expectations. And most simply, I think our focus is, how do we make it easier to shop? Really, whenever, wherever, however our customers want to. And the strength that we have is really being able to lean into an omni-channel strategy. So we have over 4,700 stores. 90% of America shops Walmart, is within a very close radius to Walmart, within a 10-mile distance to Walmart. So we are in every neighborhood and every community. And, I think that's also the founding story. I think, when Mr. Sam Walton was founding the brand, was coming into communities that were underserved. They were underserved for access to affordable quality goods. And, I think our growth has only permeated from that centralized purpose of providing more access. And so I think being customer centric is always understanding what are the problems that we need to solve for our customer. And again, our strength comes now from our omni-channel of having, a wide store footprint, but also a really savvy and extensive digital business. I think some of the ways that we're working to solve for, making it easier to shop, it's everything from really what now is table stakes, but everything from really foundational elements, like leveraging our stores for pickup orders, allowing our customers, and this has been especially true during the pandemic, is coming into the parking lot, parking their car, and we're bringing out their orders for them, and everything from experimentation to drones. So we've been doing some experimentation and testing with deliveries by drone and expanding that. So we recently have expanded into a couple different markets, and our most recent drone campaign, we actually had a fun way of celebrating. If you live in Arkansas, which I do now, the Arkansas Hogs are huge. And so during a Razorback game on the 26th, every time the Hogs scored, we sent a touchdown drone delivery with team gear to a lucky fan. And so it's just one way that we can get people to things within hours and minutes versus, maybe, later that day. And so continuing to experiment there. Another service that we actually had been testing, but just announced that we'll get into 30 million households by the end of the year, is a program that we call In-Home. And we have the trust of our customer to come into their home and deliver their products into their refrigerator, into their cupboards, into their garage refrigerator if they would prefer. And really, that's just the start. We also are taking returns if they have any returns in there. But you can imagine how, when we have our customers' trust to do this, that we can exponentially really solve problems for them by helping them save time. And we're also doing this with a fleet of 100% all electric vehicles. So really ensuring, as I said earlier, we can use our scale for good. And we're doing that in every choice that we're making, and being able to, again, have the trust for our customers to save them time and be in their home, and deliver with vehicles that are good for the environment is where our focus. The other thing I'd comment on, I mentioned my team leads the marketing for the W Plus membership program and subscription program, that is just another way that we are helping, I think, customers really solve time constraints. And really, we think of ourselves as like the ultimate life hack for those unexpected everyday moments that kind of throw you off your guard. And I'll play a clip from our holiday campaign that really, I think, highlights, and hopefully everyone can empathetically feel what this feels like when you get those kind of unexpected daily moments. So I'll cue the video for the W Plus holiday work.
Get groceries, gifts, and more fast and easy. So last minute guests are the only thing you'll be waiting on. Joyfully.
So I think we can all attest to those things. We have another spot that's about the bake sale, and a son saying to her mom, "We have a bake sale tomorrow," and she's like tomorrow, and like literally had that moment with my son even that week. It was so ironic. He's like, "We have a bake sale at school tomorrow." I'm like, "All right, how am I going to do this?" So I think, the delivery and the 2 hours or less certainly is one of the most signature ways that our customer uses us. But we also have scan and go. When they're in store, you can just scan your cart and check out and leave. Fuel savings, subscription benefits. And so the offering will only continue to grow, but seeing, as a very valuable resource for our time constrained, those that are also really focused on saving and making sure they're staying on their budget.
I love it. Sign me up for putting groceries away,
Yes.
my plate any day of the week, right?
Well, and people are creating really personal relationships, obviously, with those that are in their home. And there's, some very emotional stories of how, customers are really seeing those individuals as saviors and kind of extensions of their family and their help. So it's an awesome service. And it's, again, we're such a human brand with the people that we have in our brand and the extensive communities that we're in with the people that work for Walmart. They see them as someone of their community, and that's just another way to extend that.
It's awesome. It's like bringing the greeter to your house, right? The person you see every day.
That's right.
And it's amazing. And I love the connection there with the customers. I mean, it kind of gets into to our next topic here, because we're seeing a lot of partnerships in the retail space with a lot of brands and a lot of celebrity endorsements and things of that nature. And when we were chatting, you mentioned Walmart's approach in choosing partnerships and how they had to have a love for the customer and align with the DNA, and how that was super important. And we hear that a lot, but like you actually live it. And so yeah. I think it would be interesting for the brand marketers out there to understand how you guys go about choosing these partners, and then also how they align with the DNA there as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I think just as a marketer and as a brand marketer, I mean, every single choice that your company makes, that your business makes, your brand makes, has to just exude your brand. And I think first it's probably starting as a brand marketer to say, do I even have a clear understanding of what my brand's purpose is? And can we also think about how we can operationalize that within our business? Which is hard. It's really hard. But think about like every single touch point that you have as a business communicates your brand to your customer. And, strategically led, there are so many partnerships that we could do. And there's a lot of like very compelling, interesting brands and interesting individuals that we can partner with. But those that I'm after and when we go to have success with are individuals that really love our customer, like truly love our Walmart customer, because you have to understand, again, we were talking about what problems can we solve for them? How do we inspire them? And the ability to really love our customer and want to intuitively understand them is so important. Then the other is that there's a personal connection to Walmart, that there's a Walmart story. And, I'd say we have been able to be really privileged in having some incredible partnerships, and those will only continue as we go forward. We're also partnered with incredible brands, and, our portfolio is extensive in in national brands that we do work with, but they also have a pretty strong private brand portfolio. And so within our national brands, so it's looking still for that value overlap. And we actually have added 1,200 new brands in the last 12 months, right? It's like astounding. And, you know, some of that's been in store, a lot of it has been online. We've added 1,200 new brands, and, you know, examples are everything from founder-led, really customer-centric in Bubble, which is skincare for you know, a millennial and kind of teen demographic that is really intuitive to the needs in that in those teen skin, from Champion to Umbro to Smile Direct Club, Dollar Shave Club, so some DTC brands continuing to push into retail, GNC, Traeger grills, you know, on the upper hand, and even Justice. So being able to just be a place and in an incubation where brands have reached to more customers and can be successful. And then, as you noted in sort of your setup to the question, having really deep partnerships too with individuals going forward. So one that was really exciting that we launched just a month and a half ago was a partnership with Elton John to bring, you know, his signature eyewear to all. And he was really in depth in the product development and how we went to market. Every frame really designed by him, being inspired by his personal collection and naming them even. So Rocket Man and Prodigy frames. We add a lot of fun with the marketing as well. And this is where, again, when you feel like you just see it, when you write the brief and it comes back in the creative concept and you're like, yes, that is it. We tease the launch by posting him of images without his glasses. And we did this for 3 days from his social handle. And it was like all mum's the word on any reason why. And just, I mean, the social conversation we created because of that was exactly what we had hoped for, of just a lot of like, what is happening? And just that tease to come back every day. But it was really, you know, in a really, I think, ingenious way, because it was a way for him to then introduce the platform together and really putting it around this idea of look yourself. And, you know, without being so iconic in those frames, but how much that brings, I think, a completeness to him and his personality and his character, and now welcoming our customers to do the same. So, and with the opportunity, there's a give back. And so support of his AIDS Foundation, and we're donating 1 million annually, as well as having some more health focused clinics and care in some select markets as well. So again, the opportunity to both have iconic merchandise, but also do good while we're doing it. The other partnership that we announced last year, but actually will really come to market this year in a month and a half's time, is our partnership with Brand and Maxwell. So leading and highly acclaimed and awarded American fashion designer, Brandon Maxwell is he's in collaboration with us on our private brands. So I mentioned that we have an extensive roster of private brands, Free Assembly and Scoop. He'll serve as a creative director on, and his role there is to be creating the vision and the brand positioning with us, as well as the vision of how the brands come to life through creative, through activation, through image, look, and feel, and of course through the clothing. So our first launch of that under his direction will be in February, and it's an incredible journey to work with him. And I will let him tell the story of kind of his why Walmart, but I think it perfectly exemplifies what I said: love our customer and personal connection and story to Walmart. So I'll let us play that video. It's about 2 minutes, but it'll keep you engaged the whole time.
Did we play the video?
Hey guys, the video doesn't want to work.
Okay, I'll summarize it, and I'm not sure how we recap the events. You can find it on Brandon Maxwell's social handle too. But you know, I think Brandon talks about his roots really growing up in Texas, Walmart had a really personal impact for him and his family. That's where they shopped. And as we talk with him, that's where a lot of, he got his fashion, where his family shops, and his dream. And he kind of chuckles at this as he goes. People ask, what did you want to do in your career? And he always put actually working with Walmart as number one. And the reason for him in that is spreading access. And I think that's such a shared value with us, is that your geography, your income should never limit what is possible and has potential for you. And really, for him, putting how special fashion can make someone feel, that access to reach America through Walmart and with Walmart is a key underpinning of his motivation and his sort of why Walmart. And we're so excited to have him. And I think, we together, I think, are working to dress America so that it is a place where all those can feel how fashion really makes you feel special and confident, and ready to take on your life and your work. So take a look out for that. Free Assembly is the brand, and Scoop, both of them. And that'll be launching under his direction as we go forward this spring. So check out Brandon Maxwell on Instagram, and you'll see his video in there.
Yeah, it's great when you find that connection of the two. Brandon does a great job with partnering with brands and really living his passion, out there. And the purpose, right? And we know Walmart, their purpose is really to help people live better within everything they do, every touch point. And it feels like the partnerships bring that in as well. But the size and the scale that you guys are huge, yet you operate in these small communities. Can you help us understand how you guys activate for those communities which you operate in?
Yeah, absolutely. And we think a lot about, I'd say, that corporate big Walmart and my Walmart. And so many customers remark on my Walmart. And we are in communities. The associates that work are the stores, are a part of the neighborhoods and a part of the community and the thread of the community. And so we have a ton of work that is both at our corporate level as well as our local activation. So the territories that we surround, I think, is everything from sustainability, DE&I, community, essentiality of food, clothing. I'll hit on maybe sustainability first. And I think, as I mentioned before, there's so much choices that we can make that can really change an industry. We have committed to a regeneration and are placing kind of nature and people at the heart of our business and everything we do. And that means, how are we conserving, restoring, renewing, and replenishing? And individual choices come in things, I gave the example of even in-home, and it's all electric cars. So I think there's individual choices. Again, as I mentioned earlier, as a brand marketer, your brand exudes through everything you do, and making sure that those choices of how we are making and using our scale for good come into the choices of what we do every day. We also, as I mentioned, the more essential pieces of customers' lives, getting healthier, more nutritious foods to communities that may have been food deserts. Again, our presence there can do that, but also through donation. So in 2020, we donated more than about 750 million pounds of food to food banks and other organizations around the nation. We also then activate really specifically, because I think even what we know is that customers really expect. Oh, I look like they almost got the video. You guys just interrupt me when you want
I
to
have
show
the
it.
video. Do you want me to play it?
Sure. Yeah, that'd be great. I think the group would love to see it.
I feel people may wonder, why Walmart? Why now? I live in New York City. Brandon Maxwell is based in New York City. But every month I come back home. I'm from Longview, Texas, which is just a small town not far from the Louisiana border. In some ways, I would say my childhood wasn't unlike many others.
Ready? you say hi?
As I got deeper into creating and finding a world for myself, I was always aware how fortunate I was to always have my family's unconditional love and support. When I look at the common thread of my life from growing up in a small town, moving to New York, moving back to Texas, and moving back to New York again, it's that I've always been in search of a community that grounds me, that accepts me, and that I can give back to in the way that I know how. My role as creative director will be to oversee the collections from start to finish that live at Walmart. From the fabrics, to the design, to the images, to the stories that are told. I've always wanted to dress America.
And I just have to thank a few people. I just really want to thank my team.
With this new position at Walmart, I feel an incredible sense of privilege and responsibility. The experience of going in and feeling special should not be specific to your location or your income. Everyone should have access to how special fashion can make you feel. I'm excited to speak to the issues that matter most, and I'm excited to give back through this platform. I remember when my career first started growing and people around me would ask me, like, what is a big end goal for you? And my answer always was that I wanted to be at Walmart. As you travel this country, it's always a place that you can get to.
Yeah, so I think, I think better heard from him, as I can see in the chat, than me paraphrasing. So thanks to the team for getting that up and running. But yeah, I think to me that really embodies who we are with and why, and how important that connection to our customer is critical.
Yeah, it also, kind of wraps in what we were discussing prior to the video going, right? The purpose, he's there to make people feel, he believes fashion makes you feel, empowered and beautiful and all those things. And sure enough, he's going to put that into his work, right? So
That's right.
Looking forward to seeing what's out there. And I'm sure that the merchandise will fly off the racks, as they say, once it gets on there.
Yeah, that's right.
To these shopping missions, as you call them, or these tentpole events, right? Like holidays, back to school, we're getting into Valentine's Day and spring fashion and all that stuff coming together. You had mentioned you guys look at these events and you don't just do a brief, right? Like you get really deep into it and really get going. And there's some partners on the call. I'm sure they would love to hear how you look for different ways to really ante up that next tentpole and make it bigger, better, and really also bring it back to the purpose. So we'd love to hear a little bit on how you set the table there.
Yeah, I think it starts with great knowledge of your customer and getting to a really, I think, meaningful insight that makes you go, oh, I didn't think of it that way, right? So I think it starts there. We also have always challenged ourselves, and I think even coming into the business and being such a large company, we are not stagnant. We are not, I would say, like slow by bureaucracy by any means. We have such an entrepreneurial spirit within the company. And again, I think it comes from, Mr. Sam, and that idea, that feeling of entrepreneurship, and everyone owns the business, and how are you driving it? How are you thinking of it within the area that you lead, and collaboratively across your partners? And so, we challenge ourselves, really in every brief. And particularly those temple moments that you said, is like, what are never been done before moments? And I think one thing to talk about quite a bit that we've gotten a lot of, I think, recognition for, rightfully so, for the work of the team and with our media partners is, shortening from inspiration to commerce, and, live stream shopping, and bringing, what is very much a huge part of the economy in, say, China and some of our Asian countries, bringing that and seeing how that engages with an American customer. And we're seeing really great success through both learning by being on different platforms and trying, different avenues. It can be different platforms. It can be who's hosting it, creator-led hosting, more notable personality hosting. And so just doing a ton of experimentation, lengths of time, what product categories we're talking about. So just a ton of learning that we've been doing in that social commerce space. And it's everything from live stream, which probably feels like the more new and more innovative, but so much is, when you're in your social feed, how are we ensuring that we're bringing commerce in a really seamless way, and doing that across any touch point where a customer gets inspired to buy, that you can solve it in one click, right? Less than a click. So that we continue to experiment with. Also, what we call G-commerce, it's kind of grocery commerce, but we just announced a deeper partnership with Meredith. But the ability of the kind of like, what's for dinner tonight and how am I going to solve it? And, we talked about a lot of the ways where that last mile delivery, making it quicker, more convenient, more affordable. So think about all the way to the customer journey of like, what am I making for dinner tonight? Using a lot of the food platforms that the Meredith brands have, also looking at BuzzFeed, Tasty, Side Chef, So Yummy, and being able to really satisfy again what feels like essentiality, but hopefully inspired recipes. How do we then satisfy that really quickly with ways to buy food and commerce on food, add that to your basket and get it delivered to you. So just a lot of different ways that we're experimenting there. Again, it's all about like inspiration to commerce and shortening that journey.
So I could be, finishing my lunch, ordering my dinner, having it in my fridge.
That's right.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm proud. Hey, if you get the trust of an associate in your house, like I said, there is no end to the imagination.
I mean, talk about solving for people's lives and making it better. Like, there's no better way than doing that every single night. Got a really interesting question from the audience here, and it's about the at home versus retail. And they want to understand like what challenges or differences you've come up with, from your brand experience to that at-home component, and how have they been able to kind of mesh the two together and keep that same, brand feeling?
Yeah, so meaning when in particular the in-home delivery, like when someone's in your home delivering
experience.
Yeah, I think that's a great question. And I think it also speaks to the fact of like the way our brand continues to manifest itself by touch points. Like any media channel varies, right? You think about the store experience, the digital experience, our social like voice, and I think also then our associate. So I think there's block and tackle things like branded vehicles coming, very professional branded associates, and the attire they're wearing, the in-home delivery bag, and what that, the branded Walmart. So I think, the basics of being covered, of really ensuring, and that's a way to instill trust, right? Is you're underlying the brand and bringing someone into your home, and you can feel the brand coming in there, and a brand that you trust. We also, I think, and our associates are so good at this anyways, but thinking about how they engage with customers, and what's their script and their narrative, and that doesn't mean like we're writing scripts for them, but how they see themselves and what they are there and destined to do. So it comes from a deep sense of value, and that they then can really interact with a customer in a way that's appropriate when they're in their home, in a similar way that they would think about what's my value here of when I'm interacting with a customer when I'm in store. Yeah. But it's a great question, and I think it just always challenges us as marketers to again think how like every single touch point is a touch point for your brand, and how do you architect that so that you feel the brand through and through. Totally.
It's just that customer centric mentality lives, in whatever, the moment you put on that jersey or that uniform, or clock in, or maybe it's just throughout the entire cycle of it. So it's really great to see. The title of the conversation is really around setting the table for 2022. So, what are you looking at? What are you focused on? What are your priorities? Predictions, that sort of stuff. Like, get out your crystal ball for 2022 and let us know what you foresee in the future. We won't hold you to it, but
yeah. I mean, I think it'll continue to be just the blending of the physical with the digital. I often think about, I don't think of the expectations that we're up against for our customer exclusive to retail, right? I mean, I think customers' expectations get heightened by every single industry that they interact with. And so I think for us, it is, what I'd say our priorities is how are we and my team really, culturally combing knowledge and data and insights to really understand how our customers' expectations are shifting and changing, what are topical problems for them that we have the offering to solve for, and then, using that curiosity to bring it back into really thoughtful and strategic work. So when I think about what am I focused on, a lot of it can be how am I setting the pace and the level of curiosity and also behaviors for my team, because that's so important. And then, what are we looking at? As I said, I think it's so much of the blend of physical and digital. And, even, I guess I'll say I got an Oculus headset for Christmas, or my kids did. And like my mind was blown at the same time I wanted to throw up because it was such an odd experience. I can't play Rec Room that often, but I think I use that as an example of just like, we can experiment with AR and virtual environments so easily, and we're experimenting with that already, and I'll only see us continue to push in that. We did virtual dorm rooms for shopping around back to school. We're doing a virtual fitting room so you can try on clothes on, upload a photo of yourself to try it on for your body. Using AI for smarter substitutions. If unfortunately we're out of your favorite, pasta sauce, how can we understand which one through AI and your shopping patterns we'd fill in? So just continuing, I think those things will only up the ante so that it feels more flawless for customers to be satisfied, and that they really, again, feel like we are helping them have ease in how they shop and make sure that they walk away from every interaction impressed.